What's up, everybody? It's your favorite boombox's favorite nerd. And today we are looking at the Magic Square Stereo Master, which is their Legends class blaster that comes with the ram horn. This is on loan to me once again from Titan One. The link to them will be in the description. Please check them out. Titan One, like a lot of these companies, like they look out for me. They know I'm not buying this. They know this is not for me. They sent it to me so that I could review it for you. Like, it's that simple. So let's go ahead and talk about this guy, and in order to do so, we're going to start with accessories. This is Blaster's blaster, and it's done pretty well. We actually have some paint on it, which is nice, a little gunmetal paint, which doesn't do much for the aesthetic, but it is a little bit of care and pride that you can pick up on when you look at it, so I like that. And otherwise, the sculpt looks nice. And he holds it just fine. Now, he also comes with the tape of ram horn, which you saw fits in his chest in the opening footage. It's pretty cool. You open it up, you kind of maneuver his legs down and both halves of his head, and then you just sort of put it back together. And I think, no, I guess it just sits there. Magnus probably would have been a smart idea there, maybe a little too expensive. But all the legs are on swivels then, and the head is on a hinge, and then you have the little silver paint, different color, like blackish or dark gray down there. And I mean, it's nothing special, but it's pretty cool, you know, I think, for what it is. All right, so let's talk about the figure. The head is on a ball peg with a cut in the back to get a hinge all the way up. A little bit down, maybe? Yeah. And then the side to side, slight confused dog look. White paint and blue paint on the face that looks great. The sculpt looks great per usual. The shoulders, ball pegs, get you out to the side 90 degrees, so no issue there. And then they spin all the way around, so no issue there. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow once again. Wrist swivel. If you can get it, it's a little taut. And then we have a waist swivel, which are these flaps in the back that you kind of got to get out of the way. Swivel the waist. And I think there's even a, let me see. Yeah, and then you have an ab crunch as well that you can get by moving this piece, which is really nice. That's really tremendous for a Legends class figure. You have these buttons here, which I thought there's a way to kind of put pressure on them. I just did it. You saw it, right? And you can kind of pose them to be pressing the button, which is all that stuff is cool. The finger positioning and all that. Like, it's just well thought out. Nice yellow paint and translucent plastic on the chest. The hips are on T-jointed ball joints to get you out to there. Full Van Damme. Move this piece out of the way. Full Monty, no issues. We have a thigh swivel at a cut joint that works well. Red paint on the hip joint. All that is good stuff. Single hinged knee, 90 degrees, no issue. We got some paint details around the lower legs for the stereo stuff. Looks fantastic. No ankle tilt down, but you do get a toe tilt once again, which I think is okay. It's definitely workable for a Legends class figure. And you get the full rocker once again, which they're really good at. And I guess there is an ankle tilt down. It must have just been a little stuck before. But there is an ankle tilt down if you just move it out a bit. So that's cool. No issues. And then there he is from the back, clean. I like this little paint detail there in the silver. It's a nice touch. That's that pride stuff we were talking about earlier. Looks really, really good. Size comparison, once again, there he is with an Iron Factory early release, Warbitron, Shockwave, and a Hasbro Legend. It's our usual suspects. Give me the keys, you... Okay. And I think he looks good. I think it's an appropriate size that should work well with most contemporary Legend figures today. Let's get him transformed. So take this backpack flap back here, and then fold this flap forward, and then tuck this in. Now, as you do this, the head tends to come up, and you can actually make it so that his head is looking straight forward in the glass, which we'll show at some point if that's a thing that works for you. Move the arms around in the elbow joint. You bend at 90 degrees. For the first bit, you can raise them up to the top in order to open up these flaps here. Then we want to move this center piece, which is between the chest and the hips, 180 degrees. Get that around to the front, and then we'll work on the legs. Open these two pieces up towards the bottom. You can flip your foot around and then flip the toe down on both. And then open up these side panels here, bringing this flap around, and as the head's up, the finish isn't quite right here, so you gotta kind of lift it up and over to get it in line. This is one of those things that I feel like they need to really be concentrating on to kind of circumvent situations like this, but it's easily doable. Now we're ready to start collapsing them. So move this piece down and this piece down, and hopefully we've got them as in line as we need them. This joint right here hinges. So use this, and you want this peg to plug into the shoulder there. And you can also collapse these little hip skirts here in the front. That might help you keep some alignment. And we'll do the same on the other side. We're just going to get the handles up and out of the way at the moment. It's a very simple approach to it, but extremely effective, which I really dig. And then we're going to bring our handles together, and you kind of can get the point from there. And I'll clean it up and we'll take a look at it. And there it is. And I think it works pretty well. Now, if you spend a lot more time with this, I'm sure you could get it even tighter, you know, and this part is a little kind of hard to keep its form, but I think it does the trick. I think it's actually pretty effective for what it's supposed to be. There's the face in there I told you we would take a look at. I think it looks pretty good. Obviously, it's a little unsightly from the back, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know what more you would want in a Legends class blaster boombox. Actually, I do know what you would want. And that's a Masterpiece Prime holding a blaster in a boombox mode, which I think is the coolest thing ever. This is tempting to buy for me just to do something like this. I think it's a very cool way to do it. Obviously, it's not perfect. Like, you have to kind of, you know, snap this apart a little bit in order to kind of suspend disbelief, but I think ultimately it works. Final thoughts wise, the negatives here are kind of what we have talked about in the past. Once again, the materials, it's not a big deal for me, but I got to mention it for those that it does bother. It is a softer plastic that bothers some. Doesn't bother me, especially in this scale. And secondly, the fit and finish of a couple things, tolerances, movement of a couple things, is really just those flaps that have to go over the red over the gray, and then getting it all to peg into the shoulders and stuff can be a little frustrating. But other than that, this is what I expect from Magic Square now. Which is to say, strong sculpt, strong paint, strong presence, fun transformation, cool and integrated accessories, just a really well done figure, a knockout Legends figure, one of the best I've looked at this year in terms of G1 representations. Definitely a strong recommend from me. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, until next time, take care.